Hello, my lovely spectators. Welcome to my channel, my studio, all that jazz. Um, I'm gonna do a video to catch up on the Roxy's Weekly Challenge for 2026. So she releases her prompts on Fridays, which today is Friday, but I haven't gone on to watch anything yet because I haven't caught up. So, on some of my prior videos, I'm telling you that I'm going to start doing challenges. I'm trying to keep the days consistent. A lot of the channels that I watch will have certain days to be certain things. And I'm trying to do that because then it becomes something known. But again, sometimes I just play and then I just upload and maybe even twice in a day. I don't know. Does it matter to you guys? Anyhow, so it's 3 weeks have passed. I put the dates over here. I did type this up without the dates, this whole thing. It's on my Ko-Fi if you want to kind of play along and stuff like that. So I also found her prompts for what is it? I think I found the prompts from, no, that's another one. So basically on the 2nd, 9th, and the 16th, these were the 3 prompts. So she's going based on the premise of making mask making, which she says shabby dabby doodah originated years ago. So awesome to know that where that concept came from. And so today there should be another prompt, which I'll fill in here. But I want to have this video to come out like on a Tuesday. So if it's a weekly challenge and she's prompting them on Friday, those of us playing along are going to be a week behind if we're doing it like strictly. So I'm going to probably have these 2 prompts and the one from today when I find it. Maybe all of them release on Tuesday. I don't know. Because I feel like I need content for every single one of the days. Anyway, so we're going to do, scraps. I already did that big book of mini masterboards. If you see the older video that I made, maybe I'll attach it to the end screen. I'm not sure. So I'm doing the large hinge pockets today. So I grabbed a bunch of paper. Basically, I grabbed the thinner scrapbook paper. This was a page that I thrifted for like a couple of bucks. Bunch of different items that the woman was giving away. So these are 12 by 12, right? So you want to kind of have a piece of paper. So the hinge part, you're going to have it where you can tuck on the side of a journal. So I have this, and then I had a couple of books that I had harvested, broken down. And so I have, this is a huge book. It's like a history book. You got all these lovely faces of men, a lot of white space, but you have the patina and stuff. You have some other random pictures. This is like George Washington at the end of his years. So I got it because it was big, patinaed, and also this is black and white, and we can use this as a good base to decorate. Now, I don't think I'm going to decorate anything. We're just going to make. So I'm probably not going to make something this big. These are going to be cut in half. Yeah, I'm afraid of doing that. So we'll probably, let's see, can we use a trimmer? Should I just sharpen this and see what we get? Let's see. So the idea is that, you're going to make these to mass make and you're going to want to have them in your stash. You got to kind of know, I guess, have a feel of how big your usual journals are. So for me, I have a lot of those Crunch and Munch covers that I have that I've been hoarding and I plan to make. I am going to... you know what? I'm not going to cut these off. I'm going to use it the way that it is and see what happens. So I have 2 pieces of coffee dyed music paper. A little bit on the thicker. I think this is from, not from like a normal book, a music book. I think this is from like a Disney book. But anyway, then I also have a couple of different sizes. So we have the big books with those people on the history. This guy is this way. Again, ideal marriage, sexual physiology of an adult woman. I know most of you were looking like, oh, what do I see? I'm not worried too much about that. It's a lot of text. Let's do one as a double kind of thing. What would happen there? And let's actually shorten this up. So as I was saying, you want to kind of keep in consideration how big your journals are. And then I have this, which is like a book on coins, so a lot of numbers and images and stuff like that. So we'll do the same thing. We'll do one this size and one a couple like this, right? To show. So yeah, so we're gonna do as many as we can. I like to think of mask making to be at least 10 items, right? And the idea is to kind of be doing the same thing all in one shot. So what we're trying to make is a item that can go on the edge of a page, right? And we can glue it in, and it can serve as a flip out and as a as a flip out, and also as a pocket. So I watched Racheal's video, and she did fold a little tiny bit on this edge to add some strength to that pocket, which you can do. So I'm going to do the same thing just to see what happens. So we're just going to do a little bit, like a 1/4 of an inch, right? And so I'm doing it more portrait because I know that I'm going to have to fold it a couple times. So we're doing that. And so this is going to create a pocket on one side of the thing, of a page, right? Nothing too deep, just a little, 1.5 inches, whatever. So I'm going to go about here, just approximation. Okay, so this is going to be our pocket, right? That's going to be a side pocket on the edge, and then the remainder of this you're going to bring over. So this might be a little small, so this is where we learn, right, what we want to be able to use. And we're going to do this all the way up to the fold, not all the way into the fold. You don't want any kind of resistance, like we say, resistance. And that's pretty much what you're going to have, right? So we're going to be gluing and maybe adding notches if you want. So this is going to be maybe good for like a tall tag, right? So depending upon the side of your page. So let's take a look at, do I have a journal nearby? No, but let's just take, this junk mail that came today. We would put it on the edge of a pocket, and then we would glue the two sides, and this would be a pocket here. And then on the other side, we'd have a flip out, basically. Okay, so since the words are sideways, I guess you could put it like this. It'd be on this side, you'd have the pocket, and when you turn it this way, you'd have your flip out. So just being cautious as to where the tops are, and where you want to put it. So that's it. We're going to fold up all of our papers to this fashion. About a 1/4 of an inch, a pocket depth, maybe an inch. Let's see how much this was. I just approximated it, but let's say, oh, this is about 2 inches, and then we're going to fold the rest. Okay, so again, winding back to my other situation, which was that I was talking about, was that the journal height, right? 6x9 is kind of like the journal that I think it is, or 6x8. So I like to use a height that allows me to use regular paper, right? So that way I can use coffee dyed stuff and not have to cut and lose a lot. So again, a 1/4 inch, a fold for a pocket, and then we fold the remainder of it up to that fold. So that's what we're creating. So now with this one, I'm going to have it a little bit taller and a little bit bigger. So I'm going to fold this up here. Okay, I'm going to fold my pocket about 2 inches or so. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold the remainder in. So if you fold down, I think when you fold down this and you tuck it in nice and tight, you'll get it nice so that you know that it's going to lay flat, right? It doesn't matter. It's going to be on 2 different sides of the page, but still. So we got that. So we've got 3 so far. I'm going to toss them to the side for now. So here's another size paper. We're going to keep doing them. So yeah, so I like to be able to use regular size paper, cut scrapping book paper down to 8.5 by 11, and that kind of stuff. So I don't want my height to be higher than about 9 if I can, you know, if I can do that, right? So yeah, this is all just the same. Let's just do a little reinforcement. Let's do a pocket. Okay, and let's tuck this in so we know that it'll lay flat. I tuck it in all the way, and then I do my crease. There we go. Here's our full sheet. Now this, obviously this is going to be longer than 9, so this one will be needing to, like, you know, cut down, so that's something to consider. Right, and this is going to go to my pocket here. All right, I'm a little crooked. I don't know, I'm a little crooked. Like that. And then we take our hinge in there and take it in for our flip out. Okay, so now we got our pocket and we got our flippy. Now this allows it to, you know, you put some washi, you put something else there to decorate. That's good. If it's a bigger book, and it's bigger than the 9, the 8, this is a 9. It lends me the opportunity to cut off some of these things that might offend people. Don't bother me that much. So, you know, that's personal preference. So right now I'm not selling any of my books. Okay, so with this one, because I have this little roughness going on, I'm going to use that as the edge of the pocket for some interest. That'll be like the tuck side. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm not doing the little fold over only because it has that going on. Okay, let's make sure it's in there. Okay, plus it's a little bit thicker paper. Like I said, it's not the standard like piano book or music book paper. It's a little thicker because it was more like a book from Walt Disney, right? So then I can still have this with that fun edge and be a tuck. And then I can still have that hinge and be a tall tag, something like that. Okay, so we'll do that over here on the same one over here. We'll do that same thing right here for these. Okay, and then again, like I said, I'm just using that inner fold as to find my stop, and that I know everything will lay nice and flat. Okay, so again, this one is about 9 inches, so I may cut off some of it to fit into a book, but I could wait until then, until I need to do that, right? So that's fine. Now, when you have something like this and you got this humongous face, this is this is scary. So this page is 12 by 9, so I'm going to definitely use the portrait way, which is the way you should be using it. Not the portrait, my bad, the landscape way. So he's gonna be inside. This will be so you can decide, do you want this to be your pocket, so you would fold this and this would be the pocket, or this could be the small pocket, the hinge part, or you want it to be the pocket. I think I'm gonna leave it as the pocket. So we're going to do a little bit of a reinforcement, because even though it's a thicker paper, it's older, so it's a little brittle. We're gonna do the 2-ish inches, right? And then we're gonna take this and we're going to tuck it in. I like to use that to stop me, right? And then close that like this. So let's look at this one, because, you know, it's a whole picture, right? So if this was the page and this was your edge, you'd have this here, you'd have your pocket there, and then, you know, on the other side you would have had this, and your flip out would be the entire picture. Not so bad. You can do some decorating, put another little pocket on top of that, make the notch. So it's not so bad, you know. You play around with your papers, and I may need to cut this down, but I won't do that right now, right? So let's just keep going. We have another one that is like that. So definitely want to keep the words and stuff and the interest on the outside. At least that's what I'm feeling. So I'm going to do the little edge here. I'm going to do my 2-inch pockets or so here. And then I'm going to push this guy into the edge right there. Okay. So I have both sides of these having numbers sideways, and this connects again. So if my page is like this and I want to put it this way, right, I have a pocket that's right there, and then when I turn the page I have a flip out. So we got that. All right, I think I should stop doing that. I think you guys get the gist of it, right? So let's try one that has without the enforced flip out. Okay, and that means that this is going to make that a little deeper, I guess. And we're going to line it up. So when I pull this out and I have the official edge, I'm going to use that edge, the actual book edge, as the way to line things up, so I know that they're more straight. Okay, so we've got our hinge and we've got this. Now you could make the hinge so that the hinge is basically not a pocket. You can just do it as a little bit of a hinge. So let's say this one, let's say I do a hinge, let's make it an inch or so, right? An inch or so, so that you can actually have it just be a hinge, right? You could then decorate this edge with washi or any kind of like embellishment, and then you can have the entirety be just a pocket. So that's another option in this process. You don't have to have that secondary pocket. Amount of courage and contrasts. We'll decorate that. Okay, so this is another option where you just make the pocket itself and there's no secondary pocket on the other side of the page. Okay, now we've come to scrapbook paper. Now it's 12 by 12 and there is a directionality to the paper. So it also happens to be white in the back, which is preferable because you don't want to fold away papers that are not, you know, white, because then you're losing value, right? So let's see, 12 by 12, let's see, 4 for 8. All right, let's do the same thing. Let's do the little reinforcement. Some of this thinner paper from the scrapbooking, you know, it's those pads that like have 100 and something pages. You know, you can get them in both Michael's and Hobby Lobby and whatever. Again, this was a find that I got from someone from the where was it? Facebook Marketplace. I'm gonna do that little pocket. I do like the idea of the pocket and having the hinge be doing something versus just, you know, being a hinge. All right, and then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna fold that all the way in to create the pocket. Okay. Now we've got this. Now it's lovely, right? It's really cute. It's black and white in this particular case, but it's way too long. So in this case, I wouldn't want to store this by itself, but you know what? I'll make it. I'll do all the folds, and then I'm going to cut it in half. So I'll have 6-inch high pockets. So we're not going to use a trimmer for anything else, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut this at 6 inches high because you know, to go to the next one, we're gonna have to do this regardless. So 6 inches high, and you get 2 pockets out and the hinges. So you fold everything first, right, and then you go for it. Now if you wanted to do it at 8, you could, and then you have a 4-inch smaller one. I just cut these at 6. Okay, so that's what that would look like. We're gonna put it for the next phase. I took out 4 to do 4. Why not? Here's another one that is very pretty. It's got the leaves, so we're going to do that. Let's make the hinge the pocket, right? This one I'm not going to reinforce. I'm just going to see how that goes. We're going to do that, and we're going to do this. So another thing to note that I'm noticing, so I'm going to share. If you have something that is directional, right, you're going to say, okay, this is the up, right? Well, if you want the pocket to flow out this way, then you have to do your hinge on this left side from the whole picture, right? If you want the pocket to be the other side and flip out the other way, then you do the hinge on the right hand side, if that makes sense. So for example, with this one, right, in the picture of it all, my hinge is on the right hand side. This is the directional, right? So when I do it, it's going to flip out to the right. So I'm doing my hinge on the right. if I wanted to flip out to the left, then I'm doing my hinge on the left, okay? And again, we'll cut this one down. Let's see what happens when we cut it down even small. So let's cut it down to 8 and see, right? So we have 8. So we've got a really nice pocket, a huge pocket, right, that we can put a tag in here. And we also have a smaller pocket that could just float out. So, you know, do that as well. Okay, so let's do another one of these. Again, not directional. This is not directional at all. So we're going to do our hinge pocket. I'm not folding the thing. I don't feel like I need to. It was just something that Rachel was doing, so I was following suit. But you know, you do you, like Mr. Holt says, you do you. And we're gonna fold right there. And again, I think I'm just gonna cut them in half because they don't have to be the whole height of the, you know. So the idea of mask making, I shouldn't have to stop and take out the scissors or the trimmer, but you know, in this case, yes. Okay. Oh no, they're falling. I don't want to lose any of them. Stay. We have one more to complete. So again, you know, I'm looking at this. I want my pocket to be this, so I'm gonna make it so that it flips out from this side. So this is where this side I'm gonna put the hinge pocket. I'm gonna put it here, right? And then I'm gonna bring the other piece in to get my pocket. And so I have this. Now this is very blank. My pocket is there. It's like, oh no, but you know what? That's the way that it is because everything was on this side. I don't want to lose all of this as a fold, and then I would have a truly blank page. So yeah, this is fine. What I might do then is to, if I was going to cut this one, I would do the 8-4 split like I did before. So I would keep the 8-4 split. So I'm going to keep the bulk of it down here on the 8. And I'm going to have that little pocket on the 4. Okay. So let's see what we've made. We've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. We got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Wow, it had to be odd, but that's okay. So you make 19. What are we doing? We're here for like 20 minutes with all my yapping and everything like that. So now here's the gluing part of the scenario. So we're going to take out some glue. I'll use my art glitter glue. I mean, I've been using the wood glue. I've been using the Fabri-Tac. I don't know if you saw my short, but I get one of these from Michael's. Not Michael's, the Dollar Tree. And it has these holes. I think they were for like plant buds. And then I get these bottles from like, you know, I got them from Tmall. And I put the different glues in here because I don't want to have those big bottles on my table. So anyhow, look, quick little trick, hack, whatever you want to call it. So we have my glue and we're going to glue. So now with the ones that have this little extra hinge, you're going to definitely, the support, the reinforcement, you're definitely going to need to glue them down. So we're just going to try to get as much on there as we can because we want them to stay down. But they're not rubbing against anything, so it's, you know, it's all good. Okay, so that's our first little situation. If you want to do a notch, you can. I'm not going to until I decide when. And then, this is a little bit much. Then, let's move you so you can see. Yeah. Then we're going to glue down this edge. The bottom, right? And I'm saying the bottom because there is directionality because of the font and the text going up and down, and along this edge. Okay, and to there, and then we're just going to use the crease that we already did, right? And we're just gonna, there we go, it's done. That's it. One down, 18 to go. So that's going to be what we're doing here. And now we decorate them, however, so that's one. Let's do another one with this. So I can already feel like this is very precarious, so it may needed that little extra strength, so you're putting things in and out. Okay. Okay, and we're going to do that. Now I'm going to look at this and look at the font. So for me, when I go to put something in, I don't know why, but I like to have this, like the font to be, but I turn my head to the right. I don't know, it's just my thing. So this will be my top over here. Okay, I'm also able to put it there, right? I know I put it there by mistake, but you can put it there as long as you put it on one of the bottoms and then on the side, and then you just do that. Okay, so now we have a nice little place to, we have a nice little pocket here, right? Right there. And when we fold it on the side, we can tuck things this way. I have a video on these. Anyway, so yeah. So we'll clean up those edges when we go to finalize them and actually decorate them. At least that's what I'm planning to do. Since this is a little bit cracky, you may want to put some washi tape somewhere. I might put it on the inside here just, and then ink this side so that I know that it's reinforced for the hinge part of it, but I don't have to see that unless you want to use it as a decorative element. So let's just bang these out. Okay, so right now I have the 19. Everything's been glued. So on the screen, I'll put you the time frame, how long this took, because I know that I'm gonna speed it up for, you know, sake of the video not being so long, and about at what speed I'm putting it. So we have 19 done, and as I was doing them, there was a couple things that I thought of or that also, you know, happened. So first of all, the hinge, right? The hinge being this little tiny piece, you know, you could actually, you know, you don't have to make it in the pocket. And I think I already said that, right? The second thing that occurred was that maybe you want to just turn it the other way around, right? So I glued it over here, and it's supposed to be like this and open, right? And the other side, but maybe you want it to be the other way around. So just flip it, you know, flip it. Especially if you don't have that folded part, then you can just flip it, whatever. If it's a double-sided thing like this music paper. And then maybe add a little bit of washi here that coordinates so that it can give a little bit reinforcement and hide that glue edge. But again, that's personal preference. The other thing that happened, and I know that it happened in hers, Racheal's, and I didn't think it was going to be happening on mine. I thought, so here's, well, besides that, this is older book, maybe 1980, right? Coffee dyed, okay? I'm using art glitter glue, and I don't know why, but it seems to not like to stick to certain types of paper, even though it's like the magic of all magic. And I kind of have to go back and squeeze in a little bit more. And it's just annoying. I don't know, have any of you come across that? And look, it even took off some of my coffee dye. Okay, that aside, what happened was that when I glued it, I glued this side shut. So the pocket would be like this, my words. Now, since there was directionality, my words are here. See what I'm saying? It didn't glue up here. So what you need to do is glue up the other side. That should be the base. So let me do that because it was already, this part should have been glued, but let's glue up the base, the bottom, right? And let's get that glued. And all you need to do is take off the sliver of glue that's up here, making it into a pocket. So I'm just going to freehand with a scissor. So now the pocket is back up here. So if you make that mistake, not everything is lost. Okay, so those are some suggestions that I was thinking in terms of, you know, things that could happen. So you mess up, just make the other side solid and glue off the edge. You could possibly, if there's imagery on both sides, alternate, provided you don't have that little clip thing, right? We already know that with 12 by 12 paper, we can do the entirety of the page, right? And the entirety of the page, and we can cut them like in half at 6 after everything is said and done. Probably could have even waited until after I glued it. Or we can do an 8 by 4 split. Okay, where is the other piece? Where's the other half? Here we go, 8 by 4 split, right? And so, you know, with these, because the directionality, like with this one, I already folded that. That's a 6 by 6. Where's the other one? Where's my other little boy? My little piece. Here we go. This is one of those, like, okay, you know, there is directionality with the leaves. I mean, they could be going up, they could be going down. This could be sunset, sunrise. You could turn this upside down, you know. And this hinge wouldn't be one that I would turn the other way, but why not, right? I could, and that way this is, if I wanted to glue the entire thing down as a pocket on the page that I'm looking at, I still need to put some ink or some edging over here. So we could, let's say again, let's take our thing, this is our page, right? Instead of doing this, where it's on the back and over here, we could just do it this way, right? We can glue it here and here and on the edge. So we have a tuck that's hidden, and we have this as the opening. So that's an option as well. So I mean, you just gotta play with these things, but they are very, what I'm seeing is that they're very versatile. So we've made 19 of them. I've showed you what they look in all kinds of sizes. So even if you have a small book, you could still have, I don't think a size of a card would fit in here. Let's see. Is that the bottom? That's the bottom, Dee. That's the bottom. Even this side could fit a playing card. So, you know, even though it's a small little thing. But of course, not a playing card because it would get lost down there. But still, it's doable. And then all these other sizes of books that we have. But we're not limited because we can always just cut things down. So, that's my mass make of pocket hinges. I think that's what we were calling them. Large hinge pockets. So, this is my catch up to the hashtag Roxy's Weekly Challenge 2026. This was week number 2. Anyway, any new subscribers or new visitors here, please consider subscribing, following, comment, liking, thank you, hello. And anybody who's been a subscriber, thank you so much for being here and sticking with me. And until the next time, ciao, ciao, bye.